When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportsyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Secretary of State, now presidential contender Hillary Clinton. We'll get into that into the show. Plus, Obama is making more moves into restricting your choice and your freedom. And it's another I told you so moment. We'll get to that as well. Anyway, welcome, my fellow Americans and fellow liberty lovers all across the globe. And, of course, last but not least, you wonderful ecclesiastites out there. I am yours truly, as I always am, Elrod, coming to you live from my bunkerized home studio somewhere within the great granite state of New Hampshire, where the state motto is, I can proudly say, still live free or die. It is not big government or bust. The number that you can call this evening is 603-835-3224. Again, the number is toll-free, 603-835-3224. 3224. And now, before I dive right into stuff, because I got a lot of stuff to go over. I know Carson. There's a new poll that's kind of shocking people with Carson out there. I'll tell you what that is. Texas has done something that a lot of Christian conservatives are going to applaud. But somebody asked me over on my Facebook page about, and if you don't know, then if you're not a member, if you haven't joined the Facebook page or any of my social media pages, you're missing out on a lot of stuff. You really are. And I know that the listeners, the audience here, does not like to miss out on anything. But if you're not following me or members of my multiple social, it's not many multiples, but if you're not a member of my social media, you're missing out. And no, I do have an Instagram account, but it is not what people think. I see. I'm a photographer too. I'm an amateur photographer, and I happen to like to take pictures every now and then, with a camera, a cell phone sometimes, a digital SLR most of the time. I still have the old-fashioned SLR, with film. Although I'm not, I think I have to order film online. I don't know where to go to get it developed now. If I were to start going back to, because there is something very mystical and magical and surprising about film photography. You know, digital, you take the picture and you see it right there, and if you don't like it, you take it all over again. So and you can take so many pictures at once that you really don't pay attention to what you're doing with the shot. You just sort of like experiment. Now, I do it all the time. I take multiple pictures of the same shot pretty much with a digital camera because I don't have to worry if it doesn't look right. I haven't wasted anything. I just delete it off the camera later on. But with film, you have to really think about, because you're only going to have 24 to 30 shots on the film, and then you have to get it developed, and that costs money. You know, the film costs money to buy, and then it costs money to develop. So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing when you have film. And I have often found, because you don't get to, you can digitally enhance film because you just scan it and put it on the computer and then play with it, but that's a lot more work. So it is a lot more difficult to digitally enhance film photography. So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. You know, pay attention to the lighting and pay attention to, if it's outside, where the sun is and where you are in relation to the sun and how the subject is in relation to the sun and the time of day. And you got to pay attention to the focus and the f-stops and all that kind of. It's a lot of fun. It sounds like a lot of work. But when you play with it and you understand how the camera works, the film camera works, it's not a lot of work. It just takes a little bit of time for you to really plan out and think of the shot that you want to get. And I know a lot of times it's just amazing. Back in the day, I'm always amazed. If you look through history, seeing some of the photographs that were not the art stuff. Some of the more popular photographers that sell it as art, they're using large format cameras, but they're still using film, not digital medium, most of them, because it gives it a crisper, cleaner, more realistic look than digital. I'm not kidding about that. It really is. When you get to the big stuff and you get to big format photographing, and they blow these things up into big, living room size paintings, basically, but they're photographs. You can tell the difference between digital medium and film medium. And there is a place, I forget the name of the photographer artist, out in San Francisco. Last time I was there, he had a display and showed the difference. The exact same shot he took with what he normally uses, a large format film camera. The camera's kind of large, and I'm sure that camera is very expensive as well as the film. And a digital camera, a very good digital camera at the time. It was about 3 years ago. And there was a definite quality difference, meaning that the film one, surprisingly, was better quality than the digital. And this happens with a lot with certain kinds of music as well. You'll find that DJs are starting to head back to vinyl records. And you'll hear a lot of people who are really into music, especially the classic, classical music and jazz. They will still prefer to listen to classical and jazz and opera on vinyl because it has a better sound than digital. And the reason is because we have this format, MP3 and MP4, and what that does is it compresses the sound, which gets rid of a lot of nuances in the music where you don't have that environment. Because if you had what we used to have for digital recording in digital files, well, those are very large files per song. You wouldn't be able to get, a couple thousand songs on an iPad. You get like maybe 50. Because the files are that big, and they had to figure out how to compress those files while still giving you the sound that you want, and making you think that you're getting sound that's just as good or better than vinyl. And actually, it's not. And a lot of people will tell you, and DJs will tell you, that the sound quality for certain kinds of music especially, the really good stuff, when you're really trying to get into the EDM, believe it or not, the electronic music is, recorded on vinyl. It sounds better than when it's recorded on digital. But even though it's a digital type of instrument that's being played. But when they record this stuff, it's recorded in such a large, wide audio field, and you can't compress that. If you compress it, you're going to lose some of that nuance. And when you put it on vinyl, that nuance is there. And people definitely can hear it. You know, audiophiles, as they're called, they can hear that stuff. And it's, you know, especially if you're in the really heavy musical types of styles like classical, not heavy in meaning that it's, you know, depressing, but it's really instrumentation. And it's very nuanced. You're talking classical, you're talking jazz, even opera, because some of those notes that the operettes or singers hit are there's a lot of variation and nuance in that human voice, and it's absolutely. Now, I don't like opera myself personally. I gotta tell you, I know some of those people have some absolutely fantastic voices, and you know, they're highly talented people. Even though I don't particularly like the style of music. But anyway, I digress. Somebody asked me over on, which is why I'm not, you know, Instagram is not connected to the Rod Eccles Show in any way. It's just, I don't even have a lot of pictures over there yet. It's just something I play around with. But you might, you know, look me up over on Instagram and find and check out the few pictures I have taken that I've posted over there. But anyway, lightning rod photo, I think it is, or photography, one of the two. I was asked earlier today about something on my Facebook fan page, Rod Eccles Show page, and I know I've addressed this before, but I realize that there are a lot of people out here who haven't heard the answer because I still get this question a lot, and that's about the Confederate battle flag. What do I think about the Confederate battle flag and all this brouhaha that's surrounding the battle flag? Look, I understand that people think that there is some historical context to it. Well, it's, you know, it's just showing our history, our pride of history, Rod. Well, let me explain something to you. Now, first of all, I am not saying that people should be chastised or there should be laws preventing one from owning, flying, displaying, what have you, the Confederate battle flag. People should have the freedom to do that. However, this notion, and it should not, because it represents a government, if you will, an army, if you will, that lost a war to us. So you don't glorify the loser. Nobody's ever done that. Nobody's ever glorified the loser in a war. So it should not have been flying over any state capital or any government building or property whatsoever. Zip zero nada. But here is the issue I have with it. Again, people can do freely what they want with it. This historical argument they're using, this heritage thing, is wrong, and it's a farce. And let me tell you why. And I'm going to pull out the Nazi. You don't see people really wanting to carry around the Nazi flag anywhere on the planet. But yet and still, especially Germans, but yet and still, it is a part of their heritage, a very powerful part of their heritage. But that flag, that symbol, represents something very sinister. Now, the Confederate battle flag, sure, people say it represents being a rebel today, all that kind of stuff. But if you're going to use the historical argument, the heritage argument, the historical heritage part of that flag represents a very reprehensible part of our country's history, and that is slavery and oppression. I'm sorry, but it does. And so, therefore, you will not find me displaying the Confederate battle flag. Now, I don't think that they should be pulling it, off the shelves and everywhere else. And I don't think they should be canceling the Dukes of Hazzard, for crying out loud, because a general on top of the General Lee on the roof, they've got a symbol of the Confederate battle. That's one of the dumbest things I've ever heard. Because in no way did that show, other than the depiction of the flag, did it express any type of view of racism or white superiority whatsoever? None. Zero. And to say just because they had it on there, well, it means that they were racist and we can't have racism anywhere, is a crock as well. And I know a lot of people that display this flag are not really racist. They're not bigoted in the sense that we would normally call them to be bigoted. In fact, there are even blacks that fly the flag. And I think that's pretty sad, actually. But, there are. Because they have this new romantic notion of what that flag represents and means. They've tried to change the meaning of the flag. And that's all well and good, but when you use the argument, it's a part of our heritage, that's when you lose people. Now, I can buy the fact that you're putting it up in your, you're flying it from your truck, or you have it as curtains in your window because, you're all about being a rebel and doing things differently and being disruptive and that kind of thing. But when you use the argument, well, it's part of our heritage. Well, that's when you lose people, because that's a very dark, negative heritage. And that's not something that Americans should be proud of. Because you don't have Germans being proud of their Nazi heritage. I'm just making the comparison and telling you the truth. Plain and simple. That has always been my position on the battle flag. We live in these United States of America. It's not an insightful type of thing. Look, liberals did this on purpose. Again, no, it should never have been flown over a state capital. And I find it interesting that Republican governors have tried to, all over the South, have tried to get the symbol removed from their state flags, or prevented from being flying over state capitals and state property, and they were always blocked by Democrats. Until recently, all of a sudden, because this kid down in the South shot up a black church, everybody, well, he's got to be Republican. Turns out that he wasn't. He was another Democrat. But they made this argument that, if he was using that flag, and that flag it shows that he's a racist and blah, blah. And so all of a sudden they change on a dime because they thought it was politically expedient to do so, and they could make political points. Let's face it. Democrats have lost some 1,300 to 1,500 seats since 2010, all across this country. Let me repeat that. Democrats have lost some 1,300 to 1,500 seats all across this country, mostly to Republicans, some to independents. You understand what that means? That they are down up to 1,500 seats in local, state, and federal levels of government. Every half year or off election year, 2010, 2014, 2012, and 2014. Or no, it was 10. Yeah. 10 and 14. They lost big time. And every time they thought that they were going to come in and the people were going to vote for them and they were going to win and they were going to put the Republicans down. And in 2010, they had the shock of their life, the biggest peaceful transfer of power in the world's history. In one night, Americans turned out more than 700 Democrats and replaced them with Republicans and a few independents. And in 2012, they made a slight comeback. Nowhere near what they thought. They thought they could ride the coattails of Barack Obama. Didn't work for them. 2014, they thought, well, we're going to gain some more. We're going to gain some more. And again, they got slapped down. They lost more seats. So by the time all of this is all said and done, coming to this point, going into the 2016 election, the Democrats are down up to 1,500 seats all across this country. Let's use the lower number, 1,300. Do you understand what that means? In a 4-year time frame, you've gone from being the top of the heap, thinking you guys are all that because you put the first black in the half black in the White House in 2008, and that you're going to roll with this thing, and then you get rebuked not once, not twice, but 3 times in 4 years. And you start asking yourself, well, geez, we need to do something to try to change and switch the tide. So they're looking for anything. And lo and behold, here comes a gift to them. This kid, Darren or Daryl or whatever, Roof, goes and shoots up a black church in the South. And they find pictures of him waving the Confederate flag, and they go, aha, there's our ticket. But that didn't work either. Because too many Americans aren't falling for it because they know that it was Democrats who were blocking a bunch of Republicans, for the past 150 years, blocking Republican governors from taking down that flag over state property. So it didn't work. It didn't work. And a lot of blacks are not falling for it either. We're not. So, this is why I keep saying so loudly that the Republicans need to be bold now. We have got the momentum and the power, and we have got to stop acting like little scaredy little chickens. Trembling in our boots every time Obama or Harry Reid walks by. They have nothing. Nothing. Do you realize, and I don't think the Republicans actually realize what the hell they have right now. They have not. They could steamroll the Democrats and put Barack Obama on the stump every single time. But they're afraid of the lamestream media and a few loud Democrats calling them out as racist and bigots and homophobes and sexist. Just go ahead and do it. And be loud about it. And be proud about it. Hell, gays aren't the only ones who can be proud. Be proud about it. We could roll the Democrats. We have the numbers to do it if we just stuck together. And they would come about, and then their obfuscation and blocking would be so evident that in 2016, not only will they lose the White House, but they'll lose even more seats across the country. Look, I know in Pennsylvania, they're turning out Democrats left and right at the local and county level. I mean, what they've done in PA is absolutely redonkulous. And if it weren't for the big cities, like Philadelphia and Pittsburgh and a couple others, that would be a red state, not a blue. But this is, you get out there in the country, in the more rural and suburban areas of Pennsylvania, that's extremely conservative territory. Let me tell you, I've been down there recently. I've seen it, heard it, watched it. People are incredible down in PA. Let me tell you, and as a matter of fact, tomorrow I will be in Pennsylvania again. I will be giving the keynote address in Erie, PA. I've never been to Erie, PA. I'm looking forward to it. Right there on one of the Great Lakes, and they actually sent me a wonderful video touting the area, and I was rather impressed. Almost made me want to think about moving there, except then I remembered, oh, wait, no, this is Pennsylvania, and it's not New Hampshire. But it really looks wonderful, and I'm looking forward to being down there and spending a day down there. It's going to be a lot of fun. But just look up, on the Rod Eccles Show page on Facebook to see the itinerary. Now, if you're in the area, I think, what is it, an hour and a half away from Cleveland? So it's you can drive from Cleveland to it's open to, Republicans, Tea Party members, independents of conservative independents. It's open. But you're only an hour and a half from, not even an hour and a half from Cleveland, I guess. Jamestown, New York is about a 30-minute drive. So it's within that area. Come on out and show your support. Hopefully I'll wow you. It's going to be a lot of fun. But no, I think I like my state so far more efficient government, but unfortunately they are trying to grow it. But I think the people are trying to stop it, and they're doing so far so good. So it can be done. Limited government can be done.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people in America lives with a mental illness? Do you have the communication skills to help out if one is in a crisis? What if it's your best friend? Maybe your son or daughter? Well, crisis intervention isn't new. The book Crisis Intervention 101 is. It's easy to read, include links to 2 videos, and it's under $10. Get your copy of Crisis Intervention 101 today on Amazon.com, because we all need help in a crisis.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you are being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
Toll free 603-835-3224 is the number. If you wish to give a shout out and give me a call, I do encourage it. Hear from the Daily Caller. And look, there is a bipartisan pushback against Obama's retirement attack. Now, folks, I don't understand this type of potential legislation one bit, other than the fact it's only for 1 thing. Control. It's not about protecting the people. It's about control. Look, I've told you this about this administration and the left in general. They think they know more than you. They think they know better than you. They think they know what's best for you. You're too stupid to take care of yourself. Why do you think we all have all these nanny laws? Like yesterday, I brought you the story of a woman getting a traffic ticket for drinking coffee while driving. And I presented that online in a few places, and I get the number of people that seem to agree with the cop pulling her over and giving her a ticket is staggering. Even if it's just one person, it's staggering to me. Do you know where that leads? Okay, I warned people about the seatbelt thing. I said, no, they're gonna start coming after you in your car, a whole lot of other stuff. And then, sure enough, everybody started pounding. They were talking about eliminating cell phone use from your vehicle when the accident rate was less than 1%. In other words, accidents were less than 1% of the total number of accidents that were caused by people's inattention due to their distraction by cell phone. And you had, especially in New York State, they were talking about, we need to get rid of cell phones now. And it wasn't an issue. It wasn't a problem. It still really isn't that big of a problem when you compare the total number of accidents and the percentage that accidents are caused by cell phone use or distraction. It's still a very small percentage. But this is what they're attacking heavily, and I keep telling people it has nothing to do with safety. It has everything to do with being in power and being able to control your daily life. And if they're going to control you on your seatbelt use and now your cell phone use, other stuff that you normally do in the car that really isn't an issue with you driving is going to start to come into play. And sure enough, yesterday I brought you the story. In Minnesota, a woman got a traffic ticket for drinking coffee in her car. Because these people don't think that you're capable of living your life without them. So another I told you so. A coalition of conservative groups joined the bipartisan pushback earlier today against a rule. A rule. It's not going to be a law. It's going to be a rule. Again, so it's not going to have to go through Congress. They're not going to write a law and then pass it in the House and in the Senate and have Obama sign. Oh, no. Obama's just going to bypass the Congress like he has been doing for the past 7 years and just create legislation via executive order, regulation, and rules. And because the Republicans are in such disarray and they're so wimpy and they don't seem to be up to the challenge of challenging this man, if Obama wants it, it's going to go through. Here's the deal. A coalition of conservative groups joined the bipartisan pushback earlier today against a rule which aims at restricting how people invest their money. You heard me. How you decide to invest your money. The coalition is being led by the Competitive Enterprise Institute, CEI. The goal is to stop what is known as the fiduciary rule implemented by the Obama administration. The rule restricts investment choices for retirement and savings plans. The Department of Labor says most Americans... Now, pay attention to this line. Pay close attention, because if you're a true conservative, this line, I'm telling you right now, you better be sitting down and don't have anything near you that you can throw, unless it's soft, because this line is going to tick you off. But it's an I told you so moment here. The rule restricts investment choices for retirement and savings plans. The Department of Labor says most Americans are just not knowledgeable enough to make good investments, arguing it hurts retirement planning and liberty. Let that sink in for a moment. Your government just told you that you are too stupid to invest your own money. Let me repeat that. Your government just told you, the American people, en masse, that we are too stupid to invest our own money. Now, under this fiduciary rule, the Department of Labor claims authority never granted by Congress to greatly restrict investment choices for 401k, individual retirement accounts, IRAs, or other savings vehicles. The Department of Labor doesn't even bother to hide its contempt for the intelligence of the American savers. Look, they no longer feel that they have to worry about hiding their intentions, or once their intentions are known, that they have to hide from them. They're just coming out and telling. Look, on the right group, we had a discussion. Now, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Rio Linda, that is a program that I am a co-host on with 6 other people on a regular basis. It's similar to, it's kind of like a cross between The View and The Five, but it's a Christian conservative group. And it is on 90.7 Family Radio here in Manchester, New Hampshire, on Tuesdays between 4 and 6. But, and you can pick it up online if you're not in the Manchester area. But we talked about the czars that everybody else seemed to have forgotten. Has anybody heard anything about czars over this since the president was reelected? It's like all of a sudden, poof, they don't exist anymore. Let me tell you something. They are still there. This stuff isn't coming from or originating. Most of this stuff is not originating within the departments themselves. It's coming from these various czars. And we know for a fact that a lot of them are socialists. Some of them are communists. They're avowed. They're not being accused of it. They agree with it and admit it. Van Jones is, I'm a communist. I know he's no longer a czar, but those are the type of people that Obama has put as these czars in various things. They're coming up with all of this policy and these rules and regulations that are being transmitted to the various departments. And now the Department of Labor is just saying, in short, they're being honest. They think you're too freaking stupid to invest your own money. They just said it. Let me ask you, where are the big guys talking about this stuff? Do they not think this is important? Do the big talking guys around there, do they not think? I don't hear anybody else talking about this. I mean, this is just on a Daily Caller. This should be front page news in every news publication across the country. Because, look, the government is even telling the wonderful liberals out there, oh, you know what? You guys you're lumped in with everybody else. You're too stupid to invest your own money. I mean, now, Americans for Tax Reform, they're against this, obviously. But again, you have to remember, this is not going to go through Congress. This is bypassing Congress. They're just going to try to implement a new rule. I'm sorry, folks. Somebody just sent me an email that popped up, and they showed me a picture in the email, and saying, "Do you believe this?" I thought it was a Bruce Jenner, Bruce Jenner thing. No, it's a it's a picture of Carmen Carrera. Now, for those of you who do not know who Carmen RuPaul? Carmen Carrera was one of the contestants, of one of the seasons of RuPaul's Drag Race. Now, Carmen Carrera is not a drag queen. Now, Carmen Carrera has gone through some major surgery to change himself into, physically, outwardly, a woman. Now, and I guess Carmen Carrera is dancing for so-called straight men now. And men don't know it. Look, when you get stripped, I don't care if you cut it off or not. There is a definite difference between a real woman's body and a real man's body. There's a difference. And you can look at them and tell. Now, if they've got clothes on, heavy clothes or something, and all you can see is the face and the hair, sometimes you can be fooled. But when they're stripped down wearing the little pasties things and thongs and that I'm sorry. I don't care if you cut it off or not. You still look like a guy. And then people are going gaga over this Carmen. This is sick. This is sick. I'm not a fan of this. Tim Curry, the well-known British actor who's done a lot of American films. Somebody once asked him if he had any regrets in any of the film choices or roles that he chose, and he said Rocky Horror Picture Show. Now, you have to understand, Rocky Horror Picture Show is considered to be a massive cult classic. I've seen it I don't know how many times. If you're in the Syracuse, New York area, there's a theater out in Mattydale called the Hollywood Theater. It's still a single-screen theater. And I think they still show it every year, right, around Halloween. Maybe they stopped now, I don't know. But we used to go there. They used to, show it, have Rocky Horror Picture Show midnight showings. And you go there and you have all the characters dress up as a characters, parading around the theater. And I remember the first time I went, they told me to wear a hoodie, so I did. Next thing I know, the toast is being thrown all over the theater, and rice and water is being sprayed all over the place during different scenes, and that's why you had to wear a hoodie. But it was a fun movie. It was a fun time, and people they actually knew the dialogue, line for line. People were actually repeating what they were saying, how they were saying it in the cadence that the actor was saying it. They were on point. It was amazing. And every time I went to it, it was just a blast to go and experience that. And it's a huge cult film. It's made like $1 billion since its release. It's still making money. It's incredible, actually. But he said his biggest regret was doing that movie. And when asked why, because, he said, well, I'm a man and I should always play a male part. In other words, he was regretting playing the part of a transvestite. One of the songs is, I'm such a sweet transvestite. I guess he regrets doing that. The fans don't seem to care. He went on to be a major star. I think it took him a while to get recognized here in the U.S., but he went on to become a major star in the 80s and early 90s. Clue. Yeah, Clue. Another. Not only did it do extremely well at the box office, but it's become a cult classic as well. People always. I had the VHS of. I had the DVD of Clue. I think with all three of the. Remember that when it first came out, they had 3 different endings to the movie. And it really depended on the theater that you saw it and which ending you saw. And it was a brilliant marketing plan. Because in every major market, there were different theaters that had all 3 endings. So you didn't know which ending was at which theater. And people were going to see the movie multiple times to see the different endings. It was a brilliant marketing move. Brilliant. One of the smarter things Hollywood has done as far as movies. I don't know about the Star Wars thing though. I'm still. I've seen the trailers now, and I'm still scratching my. I don't know if they're just bringing this up. If Disney leaked this type of thing or not, just to create some controversy to give more. More airtime and talk time to about the movie coming out around Christmas time. But I just do not. I've watched them again. And I don't see where this. I don't understand where people are saying it's a anti-white movie, anti-white person movie. I don't. Although every time I see the trailers, I get more questions. And now they have another. Well, we've seen, in trailers, we've seen a bulk of the original cast. We've seen Han and Chewie and Princess Leia. But we haven't seen the biggest one of them all. Luke. Where's Luke? Which some people are speculating now that Dark Jedi, obviously, that's in the trailer is Luke. Remember now in the first series, the first three, Luke had he had trouble controlling and staying out of the dark side. He had trouble. He almost submitted. He had trouble. So maybe he eventually. We'll find out. I guess December 18th it opens. I don't think any of the Star Wars people regret doing Well, maybe in the second series. I don't know. Is Lando Calrissian in? Billy D. Williams, is he in? I don't know if they're bringing that character back, but I don't know if people in the second series, the second trilogy, regret doing it or not. But it didn't affect at least a couple of them. I think the main star Hayden Christensen, it probably affected his career negatively, but because he didn't have any talent to begin with. My own opinion. Some other people may find him to be a fine actor. I didn't. Hey, there is a new poll out there. New poll. I know. I always have to caveat this the poll thing. I'm not a huge believer in polls because polls can be skewed just about in any direction that you want them to go, just by who you ask and how you ask and when you ask and where you ask. So there's actually a science behind developing questions for polls. Tell you seriously. In any case, here's something from YoungCons.com. A new poll: Ben Carson passes Donald Trump in poll, and he's now on top. So, I guess, they're saying this race just continues to leave certain people stunned. In a newly released Quinnipiac poll conducted among likely caucus goers in Iowa from October 14th to October 20th shows Dr. Carson in first place at 28%, Trump in second place a distant 20%, and Rubio with 13%, while Cruz has come up a bit to 10%. The rest of the candidates are polling in single digits. Now, this is a lightning bolt across the Republican Party field, said MSNBC's Joe Scarborough. And this is a poll that stuns people. What? How did Dr. Carson jump so far ahead of Trump like this? They were running neck and neck, and now all of a sudden he's 8 points up. We'll just have to see, because we do know that oftentimes polls get things very wrong. Exit poll. People used to think that exit polls were just so dead on. But when they were doing an exit poll for the first presidential run of Obama, they had Obama coming out with a huge majority landslide from the voter. And when the votes were all tallied, they were sitting around scratching their heads saying, wait a minute, by these exit poll numbers, he should have gotten more votes than he had. Well, because people lie. People lie when they're asked poll questions a lot. You'd be surprised how often. If somebody ought to do a poll to ask, an anonymous poll, if people have actually lied, if they've been polled for one, and if they've lied to a pollster. You'd probably find a very high percentage of people will admit, yeah, I lied. Now, me personally, I think, over the past 10 years, I think maybe I've been polled once. I don't get polled. I don't know why. I have. Oh, do you get polled? I have. Yeah, I think I was polled once, and that was back in the 2000 singles. Maybe around 7 or 8 or something like that. I don't. But because it wasn't about Obama, and it wasn't even about a candidate. It was about a particular. I don't even remember the issue. It was about an issue. That's the only time I've been polled that I can recall. I don't know who they're calling or who they're asking because, and again, I didn't get exit polled. I've never been exit polled. Anywhere I vote, nowhere. Never. So I don't know. I don't know where they're going or who they're asking or who there must be like this list of people that poll that you go and you call and ask these questions. But I don't really know a lot of people who've been polled, actually, to tell you the truth. I know quite a few people. Maybe I should take a poll. I should take a couple of polls. One poll should be, have you ever been polled before? And have you ever lied to a pollster? Maybe I might do those over on Facebook. We'll see. I mean, that's it'd be interesting to see the results of that. And obviously, it won't be scientific because you don't know. You won't know your sample, and we have people out there telling, oh yeah, I love to see polls that come. There are some polls that say that the error rate is as low as 2%, 2 to 3%, and you have some polls that the error rate is 4 to 6%. That's a huge swing. 4 to 6%, being off by 4 to 6% is huge. And yet, the media latches on to these kind of polls. You got to read the fine print. But anyway, you got right now from Quinnipiac, which is, known as a decent, respected poll, has Dr. Benjamin Carson in the lead with 28%, and Trump a distant second with 20%. Now, 8 points is a big point spread. And then there's another 7 points between Trump and Rubio. So those are big because they eclipse any error rate that is currently acceptable for polls. So even if you were to put in a massive error rate under for Carson and take away that percentage, he'd still be in the lead. That's how big 8 points is. And if you take away that error rate, Trump would still be in second place above Rubio. But that's how big those spreads are. So that's also something that is very important to look at when you're looking at these polls, is what their error rates are, and how what the difference is between the points. Because if they would have said that Carson has 25% and Trump has 23%, but Carson's in the lead, well, that's well within an error rate, and that might be wrong. Trump might actually be slightly ahead of Carson. But since there's a 3-point difference, that's well within an error rate. But 8 points up, no, it looks like Carson's overtaken Trump. Well, it's not a national poll yet, but I don't know. Is this the precursor? Is this where the Donald starts to slide? The closer we get to actual voting time, primary time, and caucus time, will the Donald be able to hold on Will Carson be able to hold on? Or will people start to realize themselves that maybe one of the polished politicians like Rubio is probably a better bet? I'm not saying he is a better bet. I'm just saying I wonder if the American voter is going to start thinking that.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 800-595-2614 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 595-2614 to take your call now. Call 800-595-2614. That's 800-595-2614. Again, 800-595-2614.
The following letters were written by our troops.
My dear fellow Americans, I truly appreciate your support. I was starting to wonder if people had forgotten about us over here, but then one of my buddies showed me this website, and now as tears are streaming down my face, I can see for sure that you haven't. Private Emily B., U.S. Army.
It's so heartwarming to see the American people not letting the men and women of the armed forces be forgotten. Your letters make a group of grown men, battle-hardened and gruff, act like a bunch of kids around a Christmas tree. Thanks. Staff Sergeant Matthew H., U.S. Army.
Your support may be the most important thing our troops can carry with them. But don't take our word for it. Take theirs. To show your support, visit americasupportyou.mil. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Defense and the Ad Council.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. Then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
On the battlefield, there's a saying America's military men and women live by. Never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Off the battlefield, Wounded Warrior Project operates with the same goal. We leave no warrior behind. Wounded Warrior Project is a non-profit organization created to help our men and women returning home with the scars of war. Whether those scars are physical or mental, we're here to make sure that they heal. And whether it's helping those with post-traumatic stress disorder live a normal life again, or giving much-needed support to injured warriors in veterans' hospitals. Because no one deserves our help more than the men and women who risk their lives to keep us safe. Wounded Warrior Project. We never leave a fallen warrior behind. Ever. Learn more about what we do at woundedwarriorproject.org.
Zinc Media. Feel the power of knowledge.
Good old Canada. The people were shocked when they woke up to Trudeau being their new prime minister. Like, whoa, wait a minute. This is why also, as voters, you cannot take it for granted that your candidate is going to win because these polls are saying that your candidate is going to win. You have to get out there and vote because every vote does count. When you have, on a national average, half to two-thirds of the American voter, eligible citizen voter, doesn't vote. Now, I'm sorry, but 1/2 to 2/3 does make a difference in an election. So you need to get out there and exercise your right to vote. Good evening, my fellow Americans. It is I, your lovable host, Elrod, coming to you live from my Bunker Eyes home studio for hour number 2, the fastest 2 hours in Internet Talk Radio, right here on Powered by Zinc Media. It is on this Thursday evening here. We're in this wonderful granite state of New Hampshire. It rained a little bit. It had a little bit of sun, a little bit of rain, a little bit of sun, a little bit more rain. As we inch closer and closer to that fantabulous holiday known as Halloween. Yes, and a little bit of sarcasm in my voice if you did not understand that or hear that. The number that you can call this evening is 603-835-3224. Again, that's toll free, 603-835-3224. Did you know? The internet is going to be less free. I'm not. I know people have all this notion. Well, the internet is just so free. It's free. It's free. It's free. Well, a lot of, and I'm saying it's not going to be as free as it was Because a lot of sites, not mine, but a lot of sites are either starting to or seriously considering a user pay model. And one of the biggest players in the free content field has just announced that they're going to offer a paid side, YouTube. Now, for like $10 a month, $9.99, whatever, $10, you're going to be able to get ad-free video. And I know some people have been complaining. I'm one of those people. I've complained sometimes, overly so, about trying to watch certain videos, and you're trying to get to it quickly, and you're interrupted by an ad. And now sometimes, what is it, 5 or 6 or 7 seconds, and you can skip it. And I always do. I mean, it's rare that I for an ad that I can skip. If the ad catches my attention, I'll watch it. I mean, if it's about something really cool, I'll watch it. But I would say probably 80-90% of the time, as soon as I can skip the ad to get to the content that I really wanted, I'll skip it. Now, I fully understand that is the revenue model that YouTube has chosen in order to maintain and maintain the site. It's, video is takes up a lot of space and a lot of bandwidth. But what I hate most of all is when I try to go to a particular website and I get stopped in my tracks by a commercial that's more than a minute long. That seems to be increasing over on YouTube. Now, it's free, so yeah, I grumble, but then I say, well, I don't have to pay for this, so I guess I'll just sit for the minute and 10 seconds, whatever it is, and watch this stupid... Half the time I don't even pay attention. Doing something else. But now they're thinking, well, maybe people will be interested in, look, with the success of certain services going, online, like, Netflix and HBO changing their whole subscription model, offering it to people who don't have cable or don't want to pay for it in cable. What is it? Is $14.99 for HBO every month? And Netflix just raised their price to $9.99. And then, of course, you have Hulu, which I think is also $9 or $10 a month. And you have a host of others. And people are paying those smaller prices. They're paying for it. Because in the end, they realize that for the entertainment and the content that they want from those services, they're getting what they want and spending less than their cable bill. Now, I know the other day there was some announcement about ESPN is going to lay off something like 350 people. It's a good-sized number they're about to lay off. And the reason is because ESPN is heavily dependent on cable subscribers. Well, we're approaching in this country about up to 4 million, and the cable subscribers also include, when they're including this number, people that have Dish or DirecTV. But in this country, because of the internet, and because of these other types of paid services and free services, that we're approaching 4 million people cutting cable TV. All they're doing is keeping their internet service. They're cutting their cable TV. Because they figure, why should I pay for a bunch of channels and a bunch of stuff I will never watch because I'm never interested in it? Now, a lot of these channels that are on cable are still alive simply because of the subscriber fees. They get a certain percentage or dollar amount of every customer that a cable. Now, I heard the number was like $5 or $6 for ESPN. For every cable customer that a cable company has that has ESPN, they pay ESPN like $5 or $6. I mean, it's a huge revenue stream for ESPN. But when you cut out 3 or 4 million people who aren't giving them $6 a month, and now when you add that up, at 3 million people, at 6, that's $180 million down the drain. If it's at 4 million people, that's 240 million. Now you can see why 350 people are going to be losing. The revenue is down that much. And we're talking annual basis here, the multi-millions of dollars. And so now YouTube is going to move to this sort of potential pay model where you could skip all the annoying ads and pay, $10 a month and get all the YouTube content you want. Now, the problem that some people thought they might have was, well, what if the content providers, all the producers and celebrities on YouTube don't want to? Well, I think YouTube has figured that out. And they're kind of forcing everybody to sign on. In fact, YouTube just came out and said that to video producers, if you sign the deal, or all of your videos, even on the free side, vanish. So they're not going to have a choice. So again, this is, people putting, there are some people that make, 6 and 7 figures off of YouTube alone. There are people, they're big. And you're talking, YouTube is so huge now. What is it like? 6 billion videos are played annually on YouTube. There's only 7 billion people on the planet. So with that many views, and you have a lot of people on YouTube who have, subscribers in the hundreds of thousands to their channel. And these guys are like, regular Hollywood and New York City producers. They produce a daily or a weekly or a monthly program, and hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people watch those shows that they produce. Some are like 5 minutes or so or what have you. And some are really detailed and involved and longer, up to 30 minutes or so. But people enjoy this stuff. And because they have so many subscribers and, so many viewers, they have this, I don't know exactly how YouTube's algorithm works, but they have this revenue sharing model with the producers of this content that, they make so much money, they get a percentage of that. And that's how they're making their 6 and 7 figures, as well as off of this advertising revenue. Well, nobody knows. Well, YouTube knows, but I don't know the details of how they're going to pay the content providers with a subscription model. Now there's still going to be the free side, I do believe. But YouTube is betting on that people will pay $10 not to have commercials. And there will probably be a lot of people because at first it'll be fashionable, it'll be the end thing. Hey, I got YouTube Red. That's what they're calling it. YouTube. I have YouTube Red. You only have the free YouTube. You sucker. So trust me, YouTube is going to depend on that to start garnering their first blast of customers signing up for this. And after a while, that type of thing will probably fade. There won't be a stigma versus, viewing it commercially or commercial free. But by then, people who have signed up, most of them will figure, yeah, I kind of like not having all the commercials thrown at me, so I'm going to keep paying the $10 a month. And look, that's how Netflix got people. The convenience of it, as well as the fact that, hey, there's no commercials. The content is there whenever you want it. Kind of like, HBO, but it's not HBO. And it's cheaper than HBO. So people are like, okay, cool. They signed on for it. I did. And I've been, with them for 15 years now. 2001, 2002, I think is when I first signed up. And when they decided to split their content and separate the subscription, because there was a point when they brought out their streaming service, if you were already a customer and you got the DVDs, if you got the content, you got the streaming content, and then they raised the price a little bit, and I guess enough people grumbled about it, and then Netflix said, hey, you know what we'll do? We'll split. It was a brilliant move. We'll split it. Split the services. Now here's the thing. I think I was paying $15 or $16 a month. $15 a month to get 3 DVDs at a time and the streaming side. Netflix decides to split it. This is capitalism at its best, folks. People complain, well, I don't have to pay $15 a month. And so Netflix says, you know what? You'll pay $8 a month. Oh, $9, $8.99 if you want the streaming. And you'll pay $7.99 if you want the DVDs. Only 2 at a time, not 3. And so some people thought, well, I'll still do both. And they ended up starting to pay more for the dual service than they were paying before. Beautiful. Yeah, it's just a beautiful, people, and they were happy for it. They were happy to, because they had a choice now. They had a choice. That was it. But YouTube, I guess, is going to give you the choice. But if you're producing content for YouTube, you don't have a choice. Either you provide your content to be used on YouTube Red, or YouTube Regular is YouTube No Color is you're going to be gone. That's also the case for other online media content providers, such as news outlets and newspapers online and other stuff. Content paywalls on agenda for digital media news sites. And this is because a lot of these, they found out that they can't do it. From the Financial Times, by the way, financialtimes.com. They realize that they can't do it without that revenue because they're losing advertisers. And they're going to charge based on per week or per month, depending on what site you go to. You already have the New York Times only allows you to read like 5 or 6 articles in full per month without paying, and then you got to pay their subscription fee. Wall Street Journal is in order to read all their full content is by subscription only. There's a bunch of other ones, but more and more are looking at that model because they're not generating the cash from ads. Because let's face it, when it comes to ads online, people oftentimes don't even really see them. Which is why there's a certain type of content which you don't see on my site. There's this type of content ad that there's an ad within the content that you're reading, and it's not a visual pictorial ad. It's a word ad. And a lot of times you look over to the side and you'll see, it'll give you list of stories that you can click on, but within those stories, those headlines are also headlines for ads. And the headlines are very clever for the ads because it looks like a news story, and you go over and, whoa, what's that about? And you click on it, and next thing you know, it's an ad. You see an ad for something. Now, that stuff works, but people are also getting a little sophisticated for that. I don't fall for that. I used to fall for it all the time. I rarely fall for that trick now. I can weed out on those types of ads. What's an ad and what's not. I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a specific specific site that that is very big on the conservative side from a very big radio talk show host. He has those things on his site. I don't have them on mine. When you see an ad on my site, it's a little square box. It's a picture. You know it's an ad. And I don't put any ads within the content. I know some people do, and some people do the reason why your picture, your words are different color, and you click on, well, you scroll over or you click on it by accident. It's an ad. I don't have those. I'm not trying to trick people into, viewing something that they really weren't intending to view. I don't know. Maybe someday, as the program gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it costs more and more and more to keep all that stuff up and running, maybe I'll have to switch to something like that. But at this juncture, and I don't see myself going to a subscription site at all. And some of these people have they have the free side and subscription side, and that subscription side for those guys generates them a lot of money. I don't see myself doing that anytime soon. Because look, I'm here to give you information, and the information is important to help our country. Why would I want to charge you for that? I'm just saying. RodEccles.net is completely free, all of it. There's no subscription side. You got to. I don't have a video side anyway, but there's no video side that you got to pay for. There's no 24/7 side you got to pay for. There's no you can get my programs 24/7, 365 for free. And if somebody's charging you for my content, you let me know, because my content is absolutely totally free. Plain and simple. Now, if I give you a link to somewhere and it ends up being paid content, well, I don't have any control over that. But I don't pay for any news sites. I don't pay for anything. But if you click on a link and you've used up all your free stuff, like say on the New York Times, I can't help you because I haven't. Which is why you see the link. Everybody's going to this paid content stuff, at least a side of it. And there are economic reasons behind it, and I fully understand it. I don't have a problem with it. And evidently, because people pay the fees, the American public doesn't have a problem with it either. The problem I see coming down the line is, just a few people will scream loud enough, especially the low income people who can't afford to have pay all these extra subscriptions are probably going to scream a little bit to the government, and the government's going to do one of two things. Say they're going to put a limit on how much you can charge for content online, or they're just going to subsidize people. Either way, it's going to cost those of us who are actually working and paying the bills more money. That's really what it comes down to. But so that's at this. Well, it might even get worse because the FTC is trying to come up with a way to put a lot of us out of business online. With this new copyright type of stuff. You won't be able to even give a link to somewhere. I mean, that's the most asinine thing I've ever heard. We're actually sending another website more viewers, readers, what have you, and the FTC is going to tell us, well, no, that's copyright infringement, so you can't do it anymore. Well, I can tell you in a very short period of time, if they were to bring that rule down and then they were to enforce it on the American side of the internet, that a lot of American companies would shortly thereafter start screaming bloody murder, because they would see that their views and visits would plummet. Let's face it, people like Drudge send a lot of traffic to these otherwise, obscure online news sites that nobody would really go to on a regular basis to find out anything. But, hey, just because the liberals are out there thinking, well, it's not fair that you can just push the link and make money off of that link by sending it to somebody else. Well, somebody's got to pay for the website. Right? Websites aren't free. Trust me, I know. I've owned quite a few of them and paid a lot of money for some of them. Websites aren't free. But, liberals, they don't work, so they don't understand what things really cost.
When our water heater broke down last month, it was a nightmare. It took 5 hours for the plumber to show up, and he charged us a couple of $100 just to come out. And then it cost another $1,800 to put in the new water heater. By the time it was all said and done, I felt like I'd been taken. But what else could I do?
The smartest thing you can do is get a home warranty from American Residential Warranty. Their home warranties pay to repair or replace all your major appliances when they break, and they will break, and at the worst possible time. Call American Residential Warranty right now for free information on home warranties starting at just pennies a day. Don't wait for your refrigerator to stop running or your ceiling fans to stop turning. Call American Residential Warranty right now. Ask how you can save up to 50% on washer and dryer coverage. Just call 1-800-616-8010. That's 1-800-616-8010. Again, 1-800-616-8010. Call now.
Did you ever look at the stains in your coffee cup and then realize that's exactly what happens to your teeth? Power Swabs is the 5-minute solution to get your teeth white without visiting the dentist. This is Ben Gordon with Power Swabs, and if your teeth are stained from coffee, tea, or smoking, all it takes is 5 minutes with Power Swabs. In 5 minutes, you'll see an average of 2 shades whiter teeth, and in 7 days, 6 shades. It's clinically proven to whiten natural teeth as well as caps and veneers. The secret is a tooth detergent that was developed by Dr. Martin Ginniger that lifts stains off of your teeth. Best of all, there's no messy strips or trays that you have to leave in your mouth for an hour. Just swab your teeth for 5 minutes and you're done. To try Power Swabs risk-free, call 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140. I guarantee your bright white smile will have your friends talking about how great you look. Try it risk-free today. 1-800-291-5140. That's 1-800-291-5140.
Did you know that 1 in 4 people in America lives with a mental illness? Do you have the communication skills to help out if one is in a crisis? What if it's your best friend? Maybe your son or daughter? Well, crisis intervention isn't new. The book Crisis Intervention 101 is. It's easy to read, include links to 2 videos, and it's under $10. Get your copy of Crisis Intervention 101 today on Amazon.com, because we all need help in a crisis.
Start training for a new career in as little as 18 days. National EMS Institute's innovative boot camp program will train you for a new career. Learn to respond to emergency situations and become a certified EMT in just 18 days. National EMS Institute guarantees 100% job placement. Visit www.nationaleMSinstitute.com today to learn more about our 18-day boot camp. Or call us at 1-800-497-6732. NationalEMSinstitute.com.
Stuck in a boring, low-paid job? By 2017, there will be a shortage of 2 million cybersecurity jobs worldwide. If you have a technical background but don't have a computer certification, you're being drastically underpaid. In months, you could be qualified for a new job in information technology, making real money with real job security. A new career is just a few clicks away at thecodeoflearning.com.
You're listening to The Rod Eccles Show.
thing. Oh, before I get to Clinton, I just want to tell you about one other thing, because I think Clinton will probably eat up the rest of the program time with the Clinton thing. Here's another poll. I know another poll, but this is actually another good but not surprising poll from youngcons.com. A new poll shows, again, this is not an I told you, well, it is kind of an I told you so, but not a bad I told you so. A good I told you so. Again, because, hey, I was right. New poll shows that majority of Americans believe concealed carry makes the country more safe. Now, for those of you in Rush Limbaugh's Real Linda, concealed carry means being able to carry a firearm without anybody knowing that you carry it. You have it in your purse or under your coat or in your pants, under your shirt, under in your shoe. People put it around their ankles, their calves, and you got to lift up your pant leg to get to it, and those are usually small caliber weapons. But hey, still a weapon. Now, when asked if America would be more or less safe if citizens were allowed to carry concealed weapons after passing a criminal background check and taking a training course, they responded, safer 56%, less safe 41%, no opinion 3%. But see, the problem is that 41%, they're jackasses because they don't know. Because they're probably in a state right now, like mine, that has a concealed carry law on the books. I mean, some places you don't need a specific like here in New Hampshire, you don't need a permit to carry openly. You need a permit to carry a concealed weapon, which I don't know why that seems backwards to me. If you're going to be openly brandishing a weapon, I think that's going to put more people at unease, and other people that that might want to do something, cause you to pull your gun and use it. A little bit more frightening to me than if you don't know that they're carrying it. I mean, look, you're not supposed to carry. You're not supposed to have weapons in certain places. You know how many people are still probably carrying? You go into your bank. You're not supposed to have a weapon when you go into the bank. Did you know that in many states, there is, believe it or not, you're not supposed to go into a financial institution like a bank with a weapon. And did you know that in many of those states, there is no exception for police? That's a little known fact, but check your own state. You might be surprised to find out that they're, when they say, when banks are allowed to have a policy like that and it's on the books, there isn't an exception for law enforcement. Yeah, but cops do go into banks with their guns, when they're doing business at the bank. And there have been times when obviously bank employees were very happy that they were there, armed and ready to go, because there was a robbery attempt, and sometimes they've been stopped in their tracks right then and there because there have been officers with guns. But just saying, it's all of this stuff that when we start taking things apart and really getting down to the nitty gritty, a lot of things start to become a lot more clear. And see, the problem is that liberals like it when you're foggy and not clear on stuff. They don't want you to know the facts. That's why this program is starting to grow and take off. That's why I'm being asked and booked to speak all over the place. Because I'm lifting that veil and shooing away that fog so people can start to see and understand the full truth. That's what I do. That's what I do daily. That is why so many publications are want to have and print and publish my articles on a weekly basis. And I'm adding more all the time. More and more. And now I'm doing exclusive articles for a couple of, and I'll let you know who they are next week, but starting to do exclusive. So, in other words, you're going to have to actually go to more than one spot in order to get all of my writings. Because when I say exclusive, that when I write an exclusive article for another publication, it doesn't even appear on my website. It's exclusive to them. And yeah, and I'm not ashamed to say I'm being paid to do that. But hey, they don't have you. These people who want to pay you for an exclusive, they're not willing to do it with just anybody. They're only going to do it with people who they know has the right message that their readers are going to enjoy, that I'm going to attract them to their site to read it. So they asked me for an exclusive. And they were willing to pay for that exclusive. Makes me a capitalist. I've always admitted that. But it just shows that this program is starting to take off. And people are paying attention. And it's only taking off and paying attention simply because I'm doing something that even a lot of the big, not all of them, but a lot of the big guys do not do. They do not lift the veil, the fog on just about everything they talk about. I do. I want you to see it all. Because when you see it, some of it is going to piss you off enough to do something about it. That's the whole point. To get you involved. Not just to make you angry, but to get you involved and to commit you to take some action. Even if it's just a small little action. Maybe you write one letter, and that one letter could be all the difference in the world to make a change. You know, maybe you haven't voted for a while, but you listen to this program and you read something that I wrote and you go, I'm at the polls next time, boy. And you go to the polls. That's what I inspire people to do, to think logically and then to take action. Not just to sit down and grumble all the time, because we've been doing that for years, and the grumbling silently in our own living rooms hasn't done much to change the course of this country. But now that people look, it takes action. People have to get up and go vote, and they've done that. And we have caused the Democrats to their own demise, at least losing 1,300 seats across this country over the last 4 years. That's huge. That is huge. You have made a difference. And you're going to continue to make a difference. And you're going to make a difference even more because now that you're starting to learn the truth out there, now you're going to start to really press those people that you elect and say, hey, this is why Boehner got pressured out of the speakership. Now, granted, there was probably help from the Pope when he came. I'm not going to deny that. But let me tell you, Boehner was under a lot of pressure to get the hell out before that. And that was due to people taking action and talking and writing and calling their representatives and making sure that they understood where the voter stood. That's important. But you can only take action if you know what to take action about. The lamestream media isn't giving you all that information. People like me are obviously giving you that information because you guys are starting to react. That's a damn good thing. You know, as Martha Stewart would say, it's a good thing. On to the Clintons. The Benghazi thing. I've saved it for last. And look, I know everybody else and their grandma has been talking about this. Now, what more can I add? You've probably heard it all. She's a liar. She got caught in a lie. She's been obfuscating and delaying. The woman's a potential criminal. Some people want to label her a traitor. All that kind of. You've heard it all. But have you? Now pay attention. Because this is a lot bigger than what you've been led to believe. Now think about this for a second. We're learning. All of a sudden, I bring this on Democrats. Well, this is just a witch hunt. Really? So if it's just a witch hunt, why has it taken them more than 3 years to deliver some 1,500 emails from the dead ambassador. And we get these emails a day or two before the hearing. Don't you think that was calculated? They had these emails 4 years ago, 3 years ago, and they didn't turn them over then. The committee was asking for all that information. Look, they made it clear today. One of the representatives made it clear. This is not a prosecution. This is an investigation. We want to find the facts so we know the truth, so that we know how to prevent something like this from happening ever again. But everybody involved has been either trying to obfuscate the truth, slow down the discovery of the truth, or they're just outright lying about it. And now we're finding out, because we speculated, they knew this wasn't about a video, the Benghazi disaster. It wasn't about a video. And now we're finding out they knew it the moment it was happening, that it wasn't about the video, that it was a terrorist attack. And these emails that they're just now turning over are vetting that out. And everybody's piling on Hillary. Now, I'm the type of guy that says, wait a minute. Something just doesn't smell right. Now, I know Hillary is not innocent at all. She's as guilty and dirty as anybody else involved in this thing. But there's something wrong here. There's something wrong. And you start adding up all the drip stuff that's been coming out. These number of emails from her server, from the State Department. Oh, the State Department all of a sudden finds, this many thousands of emails. And turns, really? They didn't know where they were before? They couldn't find them before? All of a sudden they find them? And so they start releasing them drip. And we start finding, this many had classified information on it. And this many had classified information on this release. And she's out there saying, well, it wasn't classified at the time. Well, that's either she's the biggest dolt in the world, or she's covering not just for herself, but other people. Now, understand something. Something that you're not being told by just about anybody else. This is not just a Hillary Clinton issue. Hillary Clinton is being led up and led out to be the scapegoat. She's the lamb that they're going to allow to be slaughtered. Oh, yeah. Do you think she thinks about this stuff and came up with all this obfuscation on her own? No, because there are so many people, some of them very powerful, who don't want who don't want this information out. And this is exactly why some of those Democratic representatives and senators are trying to be so adamant in her defense. Why are you picking on her? Because some of them know the truth and are probably involved in it. This is like Watergate. The more we learn, the more people are going to be implicated in this mess. And this could go straight up to the top to Barack Obama himself. Because there's something here that the people just aren't realizing and aren't asking enough questions on. Okay, Hillary Clinton and this Benghazi thing, well, she's covering up her emails. She had a private email server. But wait a minute. Why aren't they hitting her and asking her, where was the president during this time? Did you talk to him? We know that she did. Where was he? Why wasn't he available? Why wasn't he there with you? Why wasn't the president there to make a decisive presidential decision on what was going on? Why was it delayed? Why was the assistance delayed, then denied, then delayed, then denied? You knew this was going on. You obviously knew it was not due to the video, and it wasn't spontaneous. This was a coordinated terrorist attack. You knew this because, look, your people in Benghazi sent you more than 600 emails telling you that there was something wrong, there was some danger. They were requesting more and more and more security and assistance. And you're telling us you didn't see them. You're the Secretary of State, and one of your employees that you're responsible for sends you an email, and you did not see it. Who possibly could have kept you from seeing those emails, Mrs. Clinton? Those questions aren't being asked yet. Even Trey Gowdy's still focusing on her. I'm telling you, this is a lot bigger than just Hillary Clinton and her little underlings that worked for her at the State Department. There's also this whole mystery about what exactly was the ambassador doing that he got caught out in this stuff. Why, if there was so much concern by the staff in Benghazi, why did they not lock themselves down and move to safer ground during this time? Why were they out in the open? Because they were out in the open, basically. Why were they out in the open? There's a lot more questions that are going to be asked that need to be answered. And I'm telling you, the reason all of this is happening and the reason why this has been slowed down so much is because there are more powerful players at play than Hillary Clinton. She is just the lamb. Now, don't get me wrong. That does not make her innocent and take her off the hook at all. No. She's just as guilty as anybody else. But she's an underling in this. She's been manipulated, and she let herself be manipulated. So all you people think that she's so smart. She got outsmarted on this. And now she's the one facing the piper right now. Now, I just think about all of this stuff as it first started to unfold right after Benghazi. And then you start adding in the stuff that we're now finding out from her emails that they had for the past 3.5 years that they weren't turning over, that they're now just turning over, and this information is starting to drip out. And we're starting to find out for a fact that they knew that the administration, not just Hillary, the administration knew this was not a video. Do you think Hillary Clinton is the one who came up with this idea of the video? Sure, she may have been one of the first ones out there saying it was a video, but do you think that she thought of that? I don't. I believe that she was told, this is how we're going to handle this. You're going to start saying it's a video. And they did it on purpose, putting it on her, because they knew that if anything were to happen and any news were to break on this and people were going to come after anybody, they'd come after her first. And she was dumb enough to fall for it. Because there are other people that came up with that idea. Just like all this stuff, like I told you about the rule on you being too stupid to invest your own money. That isn't coming from some underling within the Department of Labor. Oh, no. That's coming from the top, like these czars. That's coming from Obama. And if you think Joe Biden decided to bow out of the presidential race because, he just didn't have enough time to mount a real presidential campaign, that's a bunch of BS. Barack Obama told him, Joe, you can't run now. The man is pulling the strings. Now, sure, you may say there are other people pulling Obama's strings, but I'm telling you at the top right now, Obama's pulling all the strings. And he's the one that understands all of this stuff. And all of this, including Benghazi, if they really want to know the truth, and I think Trey Gowdy does, if they really want to know the truth and they really keep digging and nobody gets assassinated or commits serious, suicide before then, we're going to get to the bottom of it, and we're going to find out there are a lot of players involved, and it goes higher up to the president. But I'm afraid by the time we find out all of this stuff, he won't be president anymore. Look, this stuff was meant and said it was meant to obfuscate and cover up everything because there was an election coming up within the next couple of months. They couldn't risk that kind of stuff because of what they were telling the American people. Hey, GM's alive, Bin Laden's dead, and look, Libya's safe, and Al Qaeda's on the run. That's what they were telling us. And the voters were buying it and believing it, and they had to keep the voter believing that, so when they went to the poll in 2 months, that they would still believe it and pull the lever for Democrats. And in part, it worked because Obama got reelected. But at the same time, Hillary decided that she was going to leave the Obama. And they knew this was going to happen. So now they were going to have somebody outside their purview. They weren't going to be able to rein them in every day, see them every... you stick to the facts. You stick to our story now, Hillary. They wouldn't be able to be in there in her office every day saying, Hillary, you stick to our story. No, she was going to be a loose cannon. So they hung her out there by her lonesome. Do you see anybody else in a high position, a responsible position, being called to testify on this stuff? Only Hillary. Now, are you telling me that Hillary is only the Secretary of State at the time, that she was making all of the decisions? She had the power to make all of those decisions? Now, when you stop, pull yourself back from your feelings for an instant, because look, I despise the woman, but when I stop and pull myself back from my feelings and start looking at things with common sense and logic, red flags start popping up all over the place. And I start asking more questions. And frankly, I think this is what's happening with Trey Gowdy. I think he's starting to see the picture too. And he's starting to ask more questions. Which is, he was a fireball today at the hearing. If this was a prosecution and not a investigation, Hillary would be in trouble of being convicted because of Trey Gowdy. And when the other congressman stood up and said, look, this is not a prosecution, this is an investigation, and y'all need to just understand that we're trying to seek the truth here. That was another blow to the obfuscating left. And I think they realize that this drip thing is only going to work for so much longer. It's not going to keep working. Because there is some real serious garbageola, if you will, that is happening. And one of the things is people have asked, and I've asked this question again and again, why was the ambassador out there? He was out of his league. And if it was true that he was gay and people found out about it over there, well, that means all hell is going to break loose on him. So he was the wrong guy. He was incompetent for that particular position. He might have been a very intelligent, very wonderful diplomat, but he was out of his league there. And now he's dead because of it. So what exactly was the ambassador doing? Why exactly was he the one that was sent there? There's a lot of questions. And look, we also got other emails that told us, and we said this before these emails came out. And again, hey, we're right again on the right. Those of us who are paying attention, that it had something to do with arms. And now we got some more emails saying that the State Department approved some arms shipments and arms sales against the rules over there. Now, can you say, remember Nicaragua? In the Contra affair under Reagan? Oh, yeah, the left was all ablaze about that. Now we've got a Contra thing with Russian weaponry. I'd like to know how the U.S. got a hold of Russian bullets and Russian firepower to send over there. Interesting. A lot more questions. Need a lot more.